Moses Taiwo is a boy that was born almost 65 years ago.
Amazing.
My father's house is Yalo in Okeoro. My mom is Ile Bale. Both of them produced a boy called Moses Taiwo.
Wow.
Although I lost my dad before I turned 16, but my mom is still alive. Death is an equality of every human being, whether you rich or you poor. One day you will die.
People will say, is it not because he traveled out? Is it not because he is in the US? That is why he can speak like this. Give me opportunity to get to US if I too will not be rich.
The first 6 years we were in the US, I felt like coming back. Success is just something that you develop from inside. I was searching for meaning, even as a 16-year-old boy who just lost his father. If I remember one day somebody told me that, why don't you just go and take a plate and stand on the road and wear a dress that will show half of your left hand so people can drop coins in it. No, I said, I'm not going to choose for that. I know some boys, at that age, they will introduce me to smoke, to draw, to do all pilfering, do all this stuff. I decided not to follow that route because you can't just sleep on the bed and allow something to come to you. I don't use faith that way. That's not faith. That's presumption. So a lot of young people today, they are living on a quick fixed life. Human parts, stealing all kinds of things, kidnapping, those are not solution to problem. They can give you temporary relief, but it's not going to last. The past is the past. I can't undo the past. What is life? Life is not measured by money. Life is measured by what you are leaving behind when you pass on.
All right, we are back here again. This is Juggernaut Africa. So good morning, Africa. Good morning, Nigeria. In the studio this morning, I'm having two big fish in the house, Dr. Taiwo Moses, and I have Dr. Chioma Taiwo in the house, who are going to be speaking to us and expressing the live realities to us in this great conversation. Also in the house, I'm having the chairman architecture influencer and the Olade Zephaniah brand, the person of Olade Zephaniah himself, architecture influencer. You are welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Sir, you are welcome. Dr. Moses Taiwo.
Thank you.
It's an honor having you in the studio this morning. Dr. Mrs. Taiwo, Chioma, we are so happy and amazed to have you.
You're welcome.
This is Nigeria. All the way from the United States of America, and now in Nigeria. How has the experience been and the geographical change? Are you getting acclimatized, or you are just struggling with it?
Well, I'm a Nigerian. Both of us are Nigeria. I'm born in Ishaki, Oyo State here. Our house is around the Saletaba area, the house of very close to Ilea Laputa.
Oh, amazing.
So there's very small campus. I remember when my other mother, my biological mother lived in Togo. She's here with me here in December. But the late one was the one I was close to, even though she's the sister to my mom. So I call her my mom than even my biological mother. So she gave me that whole land there, just encouraging me as a young boy, growing up, so that I will be able to, wherever I go in any part of the world, my spirit will still come back there. So I'm glad to be here. And even though now I live in a very temperate region in the United States, this is the tropical environment that shaped me, that raised me. I'm too black and proud.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I love that line, black and proud.
Okay, please, can you tell us who is Moses Taiwo?
Yeah, Moses Taiwo is a boy that was born almost 65 years ago.
Amazing.
In Okeoro, Shaki. To my father's house is Ilialowo in Okeoro.
Wow.
And my mom is Ile Bale, you know, and both of them met and they produced a boy called Moses Taiwo.
Wow.
Although I lost my dad before I turned 16, but my mom is still alive, and so I'm glad that God is good.
Shout out to you, Mom.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's take on Dr. Chioma Taiwo. Who is Chioma Taiwo?
Yeah, Chioma Taiwo was born in Elisha, close to Offa. Then my father got a job in University of Ibadan in computer science department. Then after schooling at Ede, Adventist Grammar School Ede, then the church requested that I should come and work at Voice of Prophecy. So I started doing evangelism, moving from one state to another. As a matter of fact, I started from Ibadan. Then I went to Ikiun, then Iwo Road. Then I found myself sharing the Voice of Prophecy at Rumu, Owo Bale. Then my performance was so good, so they promoted me to Aswa, Adventist Seminary of West Africa. Now it's called Bangkok University. It was that process. No, when I was working in Voice of Prophecy, Moses came to do what you call literature evangelist. And from there, he was so smart. Within a month, he was able to complete Amazing Facts, Light of the World, and Faith. And
maybe I can take off
no,
She happened to be my teacher.
No, Bible instructor.
Because when I finished WASC, I think that was in 1980. So a young boy just exploring life, and I went to Ijebu, Elisha, Ogun State. Just working on the farmland, cleaning, working in the poultry.
Wow.
I remember my first paycheck was about 1 naira 25 kobo.
As a poultry attendant.
Working for the whole day, just trying to think about what the future will hold. So it was in that process that even before then, in 1983, because my parents here, they don't have enough. They don't even have the resource to send me for any higher education. So I was trying to look for a way to just find something to do, something that is meaningful. I know some boys, at that age, they will introduce me to smoke, to draw, to do all pilfering, do all this stuff. I decided not to follow that route because I was thinking that there is something good, even though I'm yet to discover what that thing is. So I'm glad I stood with that. And in the process of that, God directed me to her. So we met at Okebola in Ibadan. And at that time, she was working as the Voice of Prophecy there. So, I don't even know whether I'm a Christian because we attend Baptist Church, we attend Apostolic Church, there we go, all kinds of things. When the traditional worshippers are doing things, we participate. So religion was not really any meaning. Exactly, was not really part of my identity. So, but when I met her, her life really touched me. And her faith as a Seventh-day Adventist church was something that I just felt attracted to. And that is where I became a pastor myself. Had opportunity to be sponsored to United States of America in
Wow.
1997. And so we got married in 1987, and the architect will even know our son. And,
Wow.
he met all the
Yeah,
three children
yeah.
that we've been blessed with today.
Wow.
So everything just revolves around something that is more than me.
This is quite amazing. I would love to ask, what was the defining factor in your choice of life while you grow up? Was it parental guidance that shaped you away from the societal, the wrong vibes in the society, or you don't have these wrong vibes in the society at that time?
I think there was this famous philosopher, Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. Man's ultimate search for meaning. So I was searching for meaning, even as a 16-year-old boy who just lost his father. And even when I was sent to my uncle in Okuta, Kwara State, he put me in on the farm. I have a problem with my hand. So they thought I would not be useful for anything in life. He was sending his own children to school. I wasn't going to school. So life was not really having any meaning for me. In fact, I remember one day somebody told me that, why don't you just go and take a plate and stand on the road and wear a dress that will show half of your left hand so people can drop coins in it. No, I said, I'm not going to choose for that as a life. That even if it means using one hand to cut people's grass, to weed on the road, that's what I would do. So I was covenanting with God all along. And I think God is real. If anybody say God is dead, that person is wrong. And so that book by Viktor Frankl was a kind of an inspiration to me.
You read that at what age, sir?
I think while I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So I build myself. I think I give glory to God that without having anybody, no father, the uncle.
Like
So,
God factor played a big role.
In this generation, people tends to talk more about luck. They say when they see someone that is successful, they say it's lucky. What's your own opinion about luck? Is luck really true, like people say it, or you think one have to walk through a process to attain success? Because some people just believe when they see someone that is successful and is living fine, they say it's just lucky. It's God is just fair to him. What's your own opinion about that?
There are two areas. The philosophy of Viktor Frankl was very helpful to me, but I also believe in the teachings of the Bible. That's why I'm a pastor. So it's work and faith. You can't just sleep on the bed and allow something to come to you. You have to make an effort. It took God the effort to come here and create the heart and form the first person and even cause the first man to sleep, took something out of his rib to make a woman. So you have to do something. You have to go to school. You have to learn a trade. You can't just depend on a kind of people helping. People can help, but they can't help you to the point that you become who you want to be. So I still believe that I need to do something. So using one hand to cut grass, to mop floor, to wash toilet, while I was in Elisha, Ijebu, that's just doing something, but at the same time, I have faith. I don't waste my faith. Like if I see the cloud gathering, the rain is about to rain, then I say, well, I don't need umbrella because it may not rain if I pray. I don't use faith that way. That's not faith. That's presumption. So a lot of young people today, they are living on a quick fixed life. That doesn't really work. I have a lot of them. Sometimes they come to Chicago area, they dupe people, they scam people, they brought many cars, and the white people is looking at them. And they got many of them arrested. I see them when I go to do prison ministry. I said, well, I told you 4 years ago, you will be caught one day, So, and then I had people even here doing all kinds of bad things, taking human parts, stealing all kinds of things, kidnapping. Those are not solution to problem. They can give you temporary relief, but it's not going to last. I work hard with one hand, and I can tell you that I give all glory to God today. So quick way of getting money doesn't last. That's not God's way. That's Satan's way.
Going back to the root now, sir. Going back to the root. Aside from the God factor, what other factor do you think played a role while you were growing up? I want you to answer the question alongside with what's the role of your location, the location that you come from. There are people who believe that this is a society, this is a town I come from, it cannot play a good role towards my life attainment. Did you?
I think the poverty that I was raised changed my outlook about life. In fact, it's part of my orienting system. And that's when I see people struggling. I always see part of myself in their life. So I don't judge people. I don't condemn people. Even when people do bad things, I pray for them as a chaplain. I'm a trained, board certified chaplain. I work with physicians in the hospital. I see how people live this world, both rich and poor. So death is an equality of every human being, whether you rich or you poor. One day you will die. So I have tasted both sides of life. And that's why when people do bad things, I pray for them. Because I know that they are not bad. It's the influence that made them to be bad.
Yeah. That's amazing, the influence of what they are passing through.
Exactly. But we can't use poverty as an excuse. Because my story taught me that the past is the past. I can't undo the past. The past can help me to adjust my present. But the past also helped me to see that there's a better future coming. Yeah.
Sir, I would love to ask that while you are growing up, we say this now that you are the average of the 5 closest people to you. What are the associations that you think help you to grow up? Did you have to cut some relationship to become who you are? And what are the relationship you joined to become?
Well, like I said, as a young boy who lost his father at 16, so the future is not really bright, and then going to the uncle who just dump you on the farm, there's no opportunity for education. But again, like I said, I was looking for meaning, for purpose, in spite of the challenge, the physical challenge that's so obvious, the emotional trauma I was going through, not having a father, and the mother was not there, So, but God used Mama Laswa, the woman that really was just, I would say, a mother, That's why I still keep her burial something with my grandmother, because they really touched me, and each day I just remember my formation, and how things have come that way. The second thing is religion, like I said, I just don't know that I can be without God. God is the author and finisher of everything about my life, and He has proved over and over, gave me a beautiful woman, We've been married now for 40 years.
Wow.
And she's still looking young to me, as if we are just cutting.
Wow.
That made me not to look for another woman. I have women to flirt around, to do all things people do, because I have the means. But each time I see her, she just inspires me. And I think that's what marriage should be to every.
So I will go right to mommy, but before we go to her, I want to ask this. Was your decision to be well cultured and religious or godly as a result of the condition you found yourself, or because there are people, they just surrender themselves to God when there's an hopeless situation that at least there's no way to
that could have been my story, another book that I have 2 doctorates, so when I'm referencing books, you should know that I sometimes I'm doing didactic as a professor, even though this is not for that. The book was written by Richard Rice. He talks about 7 theories of suffering.
7 theories of suffering.
So one of the suffering is that
Director, take
I'm
note
suffering
of that.
because God is punishing me for the bad thing I do. I don't believe in that. Or I'm suffering because I don't have any choice. Or so all kinds of theories are there. But my own idea of suffering is that I think suffering brings hope. If you look at Romans 5, it says suffering produces hope in us. And that hope does not disappoint us. So the Romans, they are suffering. The Roman Christians, they are suffering under the emperor. In fact, some of them are just killed like that. They brought them in the theater, and the emperor will just see how they are butchering human beings. So all the evil we see in our society today is not new. It's been there. But a lot of Christians, they refuse to bow down to the emperor. Because they still hope that God at the end will win. Not evil.
So it is just like you are saying we should convert negative energy to strength.
Exactly.
We should turn pain to power.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's what Paul says. He said, in fact, when he was writing to the Philippians too, if you look at Philippians 4, it said, look, whatever that is peaceful, whatever that is good, whatever that is worth of emulation, he said, think of all of these things. So those are philosophical foundation of even what I'm becoming, because I'm not there yet. I don't even think I have anything.
Wow.
Wow. And like Paul said, he said, what do we have that God has not given to us? My beautiful wife is a God gift.
Wow. Wow.
So, and I'm happy.
So the energy, the way you explain that, lots of youth today, when they taste success, even let's say not youth alone, some people, when they taste success, they begin to forget about the principles that took them there. They begin to neglect and even shun some activities that should sustain them. And I have a mentor who said, I will not throw away my winning ticket. So if we are to speak to youth now, if you are to speak to youth, what's going to be your specific advice in that area?
Well, as I'm facing the camera, I would like to appeal to the young people, because I see my story in their lives, starting from nothing, even when you don't even have any hope, anything. But if you believe that there is a God, if you believe that there's something beyond who you are, it will happen. I still believe in miracle, but not in the miracle that will just make me to be trying to help God, no. Or trying to be lying, trying to be stealing, trying to be drugging, trying to be doing those bad things. You may get the money, but you will not be happy. So there is a 2 different thing about life. I know a lot of my friends, who are very staunchly rich, but they are not happy.
So happiness is important.
So it's just something that a lot of people have a wrong understanding about what makes people happy.
So this your narration will lead me to another question. I've been with one of my very rich mentor, and at one point he said, money does not buy happiness. And on social media, I've seen a lot of people say, have that money first. It's nonsense that you are saying that money will buy happiness.
I used to think like that before. Okay. I have that ideology, growing up, saying that, look, if you don't have money, what can you do? I mean, even I remember sometime when we were doing some family discussion, And it's only people who have money that have a say. You don't have money, who is going to listen to what you want to say? But you see, that's the wrong view of money. People allow money to use them rather than they using the money. The money that you work for, no matter how small it is more blessed than the person who allow money to make them to who they are. So money should not be our identity. We should be over the money. That's why man is not made for money. But a lot of people find different ways just to get that money. And in the end, they are disappointed.
I'll just return to Shaki. I'm proud that you are proud to come from Shaki. We have a whole lot of people who, once they are successful, they don't even want to pronounce. I'm amazed as you are pronouncing where you come from, Shaki Town.
Although the soldier, when we were coming back from Bako, I think between Bashia and Agri, there was some post of the armies were there. So they saw chaplain and my something. Then they said, "Where are you from?" I said, "We're coming from Bako." He said, "Where are you going?" I'm going to Shaki. Oh, Shaki.
So there's a difference between Shaki and Shaki.
So the driver, my wife was laughing. The driver was saying, "No, almost Shaki ni." And cool, almost Shaki.
Sincerely, the reason why I'm taking you back to Shaki is that this conversation we actually want to put hope back to the streets. Because back to the streets of the youth. Sincerely, if you see reasons why some youth are taking some decisions in life, is because sincerely it appears everything around them per day is just hopelessness. And then you being around there, can you say you are successful? The reason why I'm asking this question is that so that people, youth out there will know that there is an indigene who is successful and is happy at the same time. Can you say you are successful?
Well, I'm successful because as a philosopher, I go into the mind of King Solomon in the Bible. One of the things he prayed for is that God, do not make me to be poor, that I will curse you. And at the same time, do not make me to be too rich, that I will forget you. So I keep the tension. And I allow, each time I'm making too much money, I slow down. I pay my tithe. I give to people. Every month I send money to my father's side, to my mother's side. Because what is life? Life is not measured by money. Life is measured by what you are leaving behind when you pass on.
Impact.
Yeah, the impact.
Sir, definitely it is safe to express. Chairman, you remember this expression, money and gold, silver and gold I have not. And there's a man,
that's how the Peter's Gate is.
He now said, silver and gold, I have some. So you can actually say you have some.
Oh yeah, I have some.
Yeah, I have some. So the reason why,
I'm blessed.
Very
There's
good.
No doubt about that.
You are blessed. You're not lucky.
Thank you, Mommy. I think Mommy want to express something.
No, go ahead. He's a good speaker.
Well, we're actually coming to you. We're actually coming to you big time. Where I'm going is that because Daddy will understand the roots. Because sincerely, sir, we have a whole lot of youth still out there who I want you to speak to the fact that is it still possible that, let's assume you were not out of Shaki, would you have been okay? Would you have been able to make what you have to do?
Let me bring it this way. I get where you are going to. Some people will say, is it not because he traveled out? Is it not because he is in the US? That is why he can speak like this. Give me opportunity to get to US if I too will not be rich. And it is not, one thing I believe about Wet It is not the matter of your location, though it can help. It's about your mindset.
The location is a liability sometimes. Because I can tell you that the first 6 years we were in US, I felt like coming back home. Even at that time, I have a master's degree from University of Ibadan. Wow. But life there there's nothing. America knows that they don't have anything. They depend on the world. That's why China, we import everything. I mean, I'm a U.S. citizen. I can talk because it's my second country.
Wow.
So all I'm trying to say is that the location is not what determines success. Success is just something that you develop from inside. And I can tell you that a lot of my Nigeria, each time I go to Chicago or to LA, where I'm presently we've been working, I see a lot of Nigeria. And the reason why I know some of them is because, especially my Yoruba tribe, they have the tribal mark. For the last 40 years, they've never visited Nigeria. They marry, we call them Akata. They ruin their life. In fact, when I see some of them, I say, why are you even in US? This is a liability. Okay? So it's very few people that actually made it. I have the time now, I want to Japa. I said, you better think very well. I have a lot of medical doctors in New York because they could not pass the board exam, the national that will certify them. Some of them are taxi driver. So the fact that you see us coming home like that, we have debt on our head. Some people live their life only on credit card. Some people are scammers. That's why there are several Nigerians in most of the jail in America. That some of them have just died there. They're not coming home. So whoever is painting that rosy something, they are lying. And anybody bringing flashy tongue here, they should study their life. They're going to catch them one day. American can be patient for 2, 10 years, 15 years. The day they will bounce on you, you are reading some of them on social media. It's not fun. It's only very few people that are professional like you people that you can come to your work and be happy. Over there, I think the only thing we don't pay for is walking on the road.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm making this is a serious conversation.
Wow.
Because you have to be certified for everything.
It's an interesting
Even
conversation.
to clean somebody's buttock, working in the nursing home, you have to be certified.
Wow.
Is that life?
This is
I'm a US citizen. I've been there for almost 3 decades. So you should know that I'm not just telling you theory. I'm telling you real life.
So what's your advice to people that are saying there is greener pasture over there? Because at times you visit the airport, the level of people traveling out, going there, seeking for greener pasture.
It's the mentality. The mentality that I travel abroad. I mean, ask people who went to Germany, especially those people in Europe, they are suffering. They are suffering. A lot of them still struggling to come to America. Is the only place in the Western world where you can minimally survive and have something that you call your own. Okay? Most economy in Europe now is struggling. There's no doubt about that. Okay? And I always tell people that if you want to go to America, make sure you educate yourself to a point that when you go there, you can begin some certification process. The fact that you are a professor here at the university, when you go there, they will even make you be under somebody who is just a school cert holder. Because Americans believe in something pragmatic, not all this title we carry in our head. Yeah. I have a professor from University of Ife. He came there. Oh, I'm professor. I said, look, you better stop addressing yourself professor. You won't get any job here.
Wow.
And a lot of them too will bring with all their certificates. I said, look, all those certificates will not, because by the time they are fielding you the second question, and none of your question can demonstrate what you can offer as a value, they will say, we'll call you back. They are not calling you back.
This conversation is leading. It's just connecting to each other. You spoke about value now, sir. The system in Africa is a system that requires, will I say, authentication or certification.
Yeah.
They say go to school,
We call it Protestant work ethics.
Okay.
Go to school, marry, build a house,
Yes, sir.
you start a family.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't feel those circles.
Yes. Some will say after masters, go to get a doctorate, get professor, and you see professors who can profess what.
That's why America believe in pragmatic.
So
what can you do?
People will say, "I have this," and someone who has degree, who has a professor, keda in business, and cannot even run a small coffee shop. They say, "I have PhD in business administration." What advice can you give people? You see people who have certifications in computer studies, someone who is a PhD holder in computer studies, who cannot even operate a computer well. So what will you advise youth in that regard? Should we still continue to chase this certification, or we should find something to do? What's your own advice there, sir?
Well, I guess there are two ways to it. In this culture, especially within my own African culture, the British, they brainwash us that paper certification is what that matters. Title, they believe in the tradition. The opposite is America. America doesn't believe in all the title. They believe, what can you do? So that's why you see people like Bill Gates, or this Zuckerberg, the one who did the Facebook. Majority of them, I see them in California. These are young individuals. Bill Gates is the oldest person among them. Even the guy who, Elon, all of them. They are just some of your colleagues that you can even see them and say, what makes them special? It's not the title. It's what they can do, the value they can bring to the society. I remember during the AIDS epidemic, COVID-19 something, a lot of us were just between life and death. Just a 45-year-old guy just developed a vaccine and changed the whole dynamic. So all the professors in the university, they are teaching theory in the laboratory. They didn't know anything. So they have to withdraw their contract from all the so-called professors. So it is what the value you bring into the society. If you look at the road here, at the back, our back here, all this road with people selling something, maybe an architect is even designing, thinking of how this road will be done in a way that people will still meet their need and life will be easy for people. So the person is bringing value. It's not just driving people away, threatening them. That doesn't solve anything. You study the environment, you study the need. What value can I bring to these people? So to me, that is the kind of education that is highly needed and is lacking today.
The reason why I kept taking you back home is because any moment from now you'll be returning to the US.
Correct.
And one of the virtues and values you can offer the society is counsel. And then when, just like you have rightly said, when we look out to the streets and the activities of our people, it's like there is no hope for tomorrow. And just like you have rightly charged, that the youth mindset should be activated towards what is the solution to bringing these guys out. I want you to see on the final note on the Shaki route, what are your advice, your counsel, and to the citizen, the indigene of Shaki Town, and then to the government governing the community itself? And then the traditional rulers, what roles do you suggest they should begin to play towards emancipating the growth and the youth?
Well, most of our youth today, they lost hope. Especially the generation, millennial design, the Gen Z, or they don't trust the baby boomer anymore. Those of us that are born maybe before 1960 or after 1960, they thought we made life the way it is today. So the trust is not there. And when you think about even the history of corruption, even among our former head of states, I don't care any tribe, Igbo, Yoruba, all of us, we've all go wayward. None of us is clear, even including the present Tinubu. All of us have skeleton in our cupboard. But what I will appeal to people is, what can you do to change the life of average Nigeria? Because with all this money we are amassing, if not even 1 naira will be put in the grave. We need to have a kind of a repentant heart. No one is clean. Whether chief general, I don't care. All of us. It's like Daniel praying in Daniel chapter 9. God, we've all sinned. We've all gone astray. None of us is right. Please forgive us. That's the only thing that can change the town of Shaki, can change your state, can change Nigeria, and then we can move beyond to other countries. Without repentance, there's no reform. Talk tax reform, bill reform, road reform. Nothing will reform without a change of heart. And only God can do that.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Sir, this will lead me to ask that there's a process to becoming. If anyone becomes anything, there's a process. Can we ask, what's your work ethics? Because for someone to be successful, there should be some guiding principles, some activities that one goes with daily. So what are your work ethics? What are the things that you have at heart while you are committing?
Yeah, I still believe Philippians 4:8. Whatever that is honorable, whatever that is truthful, whatever that is of good report, he said we should meditate on that each day. Unfortunately, we have so many churches, so many mosques, and that's why even the traditional worshippers, they just laugh at us, that we are hypocrites. So carrying Bible, carrying Quran is not carrying anybody anywhere. Of what use is when you are not motivating people, you are not creating opportunity, job opportunity, influencing people. I like your title of your company, influencer. A good leader is an influencer. If you cannot influence me to change my life, why are you my leader? So I'm always, in my own organization, I'm the manager for all the pastoral activities in that hospital. So that title never get into my head one day. I'm always thinking about the 18 chaplains working under me. What am I doing? If anyone is not having particular certification, let's talk about that during our one-on-one. What can I do, to add value to what? So this is what makes us a leader. And until we come to that way of life, the road will still remain as it is. All this dilapidated building, nothing will change. Crime will not stop. Corruption will not stop. So can we blame God for all of this?
No.
I don't think so. So we are the influencer. We are the change makers. And again, I also want to add, as leaders, with all this opportunity, even if we are made as president, governors, we should be agents of hope.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much. Mommy, it's your turn.
Yes.
While growing up, what was the most difficult challenge the society posed on you while growing up, in Nigeria especially?
Yeah, that's a good question. The most negative part is cursing. I remember when I was growing up, I'm still growing up anyway. I tried my best to do the best, but I couldn't please my father. I couldn't please my mom. So let's say I'm washing plates, and mistakenly I broke the plate. There's a cost attached to it.
For breaking the plate. Wow.
That's number one. Number two, Bible, I'm fighting, having a conflict issue with my colleagues. Then the report came to my dad that there's a conflict. And instead of my father to hear my own version, then he said, then my mother would say, Omale, one mefu, So, those kind of negativity. So as I was growing up, I need to do that change in the life of my children. So each time I find out that they are doing mistake, I turn it to blessing. Then I try to educate them that we all make mistakes. So I could make the same mistake. That calmness helped my children to have that awareness of being positive and have confidence in growing up. And also helped me to. So when I moved to US, in fact, I've been helping myself self-sponsored from Nigeria. So when I moved to US, the kind of visa we got from Nigeria enabled me to work 3 jobs because you can work unlimited. But my husband has to be a full-time student. So because of the impact that I've already changed in my life, being positive, I didn't even know how God did it. I was working from one job to another through grace.
That's amazing.
For 18 years. And is there any other question?
Wow, that's
because
amazing.
I'm emotional.
That's in looking at that brief narration. It's like you have been a huge support system. If we are going to have the opportunity of speaking to people in your gender who feels as if they should just be limited to one segment of the home. Some people will say women are meant for kitchen. Some will say all the certificates you are taking about, you end up in the kitchen. What's your opinion about it? Your story have told us now that you have been a huge support system. So what will you say to people in that category who think life should just come to them on bed of roses without support, without any impact?
The advice I would like to give to my colleagues, my women, is that they should not give up. They should have positive mindsets, and they should be willing to work with the Holy Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit will also help them to be humble, to be respectful, and to, the work of the Spirit, and to persevere. So when you work with the Holy Spirit, you're able to respect your husband, you're able to humble yourself, even though you're a millionaire, even though you are making it. But you push your husband forward, let him do it, but you be behind. Don't show up. So coming to your question, it depends on the situation. Let's say there's family scenario, like sickness or mother-in-law or whatever. The best thing is to be at home to take care of the child. So that's why God made husband and wife. So in that case, your husband will not take a role to do the job.
So maybe,
Why?
let me chime in.
No,
there.
wait.
Okay.
Why? I didn't talk.
Go ahead.
Why? While you are doing the housework, doesn't mean that you are full-time housewife. Because while you are doing the housework, we have different category. You can do online. You have to learn IT. You have to learn computer. You have to know how to marketing. That's home. Those people, you are full-time housewife. And make sure you are cooking. The house is clean. And you're also homely. You are entertaining people.
Multitasking.
So people misconstrue the difference between a full-time housewife and a part-time housewife and a worker.
Housewife.
You understand? So we have to know the differences.
Yeah,
Wow.
the area I want to chime in very quickly.
Yes, sir.
You see, you are asking about the gender role mentality. That regardless of what you have, everything end up in the kitchen. I grew up with that mentality too. But since moving to America in 1997, it changed my orienting system. So the kind of visa I have, I cannot work. She's the only one who can work. So that's why she said, okay, let me put my husband in school. And then she will be working to making the money. So she became the man, and I become the woman. So, and what happened is that it was hard for me to switch that role. Because I still expect her to come and serve me food when she come back from work while I'm still watching TV. So I'm making you to laugh, but you need to get it back because I love your question. So, and my wife will say, look, honey, I put you in school, I just come back from work. Because of the orienting system that women is kitchen, it's your kitchen. So I have to learn, but it was hard for me. But because she's a very understanding woman, she would try, cook the food, put them in fridge that will last. So the children were very small at that time, so they didn't even understand what we were struggling going through as a couple, and I think, because she also experienced the Biafran War, based on the story she shared with me. She lost her mom. So she became like a mother to the rest of her siblings. I think 2 of them are in America now. Three of them. So she's just supporting her husband. That's the way, and that's the kind of women that we need today. It's not power over, but power with.
Man, we must give it to you. In fact, it just
Big kudos.
it just led me to 3 hams because that Biafra, we must go there before leaving this studio. We must go there because we your children, we are learning, and the issue why I must go there is that you see the Nigerian system is forgetting history already.
Yes.
We are not being taught again, and then the good men in the society are not talked about deliberately.
And are not celebrated.
They are not celebrated. So there's this part of history. There are some things that your experience you will share with us. But before I go there, I want to ask this on while you were dating, while you were trying to get married. I want to talk about these ethnicity incompatibilities. Did you have any challenge being a Yoruba and then Dr. Mrs. being an Igbo?
I think it's good she speaks first.
Okay. Was there any challenge?
As the first daughter in the family.
Yeah, actually, it's normal. It's normal behavior. We have this traditional code that is inbuilt in our brain. And that traditional code has to do with our tribalism and also has to do with the history of Biafra. So with that code, through Christ, through the grace of God, I'm emotional because we mentioned something.
Sorry.
So once we are from Yoruba,
it's a no.
no.
Yeah, and it's almost the same thing.
Because of the memory of Biafra.
Yes.
Yeah, so I remember the first time we came here Was it 1983?
84.
84.
Yeah.
Okay. I met you 83.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah. So we came there.
A tissue,
So
please.
we came and Yalaso, the one I say is
Yes.
So I think they were speaking and they had her speaking Yoruba. So
Wow.
when Yalaso, I said, well, this is the girl I'm planning to marry. And Yalaso said, is talking Igbo to? And I said, it's Igbo. He said, so you don't see anybody in Aguare. You don't see anybody. So you want to marry somebody. They are eating human. They will eat you one day. As a young boy, I was scared too. But I mean, it took courage in those days. But from my father's side, I think some of them have traveled out, so they've mixed with other tribe, so they were more welcoming of her, and so I was assessing both situations because I know that the ethics that taught me is that when you marry, you are not just marrying the woman, but you are marrying the family. In the same way that I'm also marrying her own family, not just her. So that idea was guiding how I have to respond. I said, well, we have to manage ourselves to the process to make sure that we make them to understand. And at that time I was just a theology student at ASWA in those days. So and as the God would made it, like she said at the beginning, she was my Bible instructor. So we were just studying Bible together. We were trying to believe that this will work out, even though I see that the challenge, especially from her father, because she is the first daughter in the family. And according to Igbo culture, the first daughter don't marry far away.
That's so close.
Exactly. But, because of the way I was able to be with the man, I mean, the man just even became my father. To the point that Mama Lasso has to travel from here one day. When I send money, she took the money to Oma here to go and deliver to.
Wow.
And that's,
so they were later bonding.
She's very brave.
So all I would say to young people like that, whether you marry within your tribe or outside the tribe, I think you have to put some effort to there. That's why I still believe in work and faith. God will do his part, but you have to respond. To have to show appreciation. And once you allow that to order, regardless of where you marry, regardless of location, like you are saying, you are the one to determine your future.
How were you able to play this role of the lead? Because where you were even coming from, you were the Bible instructor. So now switching to now being your husband, how were you able to play the role of? Or was it not a time? Has it not got to a time? Was there not a time? Let me reframe that. Was there not a time when he was feeling like he's being controlled, or you were able to manage it?
I've never used that word control because control is also negative.
Like if I want to have it my way, that's what.
Have you done that?
Yeah, sometimes I did that.
Because I don't
as a young boy, Although I have to mature into that.
It's amazing. It's amazing because this is a story that that's what our society is hiding a lot of treasure in mystery, because one could not imagine that you had this kind of narratives in those days, because as at the time you got married, the memory of what was dividing us was still fresh.
Oh, yeah.
It was still fresh. So it was a trying time you came together.
Let me try to control myself.
Yes, sir, please.
So when it comes to this whole story, Bible says all things have passed. So I become emotional because something triggers. Let me try to compose myself. I remember when we are coming with the other students to Voice of Prophecy. There were 3.
In Okebola.
Yeah, Okebola. So I I never thought that the church, the pastors, would want to come matchmaking. So we were conversing. We call it canvassing or corporate. We usually cover Abeokuta, Shagam, Ikorodu, then connect it to Lagos, then back to Aswa.
We all go and sell books.
Yeah.
Wow. And come back.
So the performance was so good, and there's an opening. We call it new job opening. So and I'm in charge of Book and House because of the fact I was sent to Bangkok, Aswa, at that time. So he came also. He came. Then the other 3, 4 came. So I selected 3 that they should go to Sweden.
Wow.
So Sweden made the job of, in terms of financial breakthrough. That's what you call financial. He came back. He made it.
Wow.
The other guy, he died this month, this year.
February.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, he made it also.
Igboho.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went to.
Michael, the name again?
Michael Adeni.
Wow, from Igbo town.
Yes.
Where is he now?
He died February.
Yeah.
This
Oh.
year.
But
He
he
had
has
a
a big.
small clinic and
Yeah.
hospital.
Wow, blessed memory.
Igbote.
Igbope.
Igbope.
Yeah, Igbope.
Wow.
So that was so impressive, you know.
Yeah, I think I
These-
know that
these
hospital
two
is on the
candidates,
road.
they
Yeah,
are
it was my
non-Adventists,
teenage friend.
Wow.
Wow.
but they did very well. They represented us very well.
Wow.
So because of that, the Swedish, they were highly motivated. So they requested more students. We call it work study. Up now, we're still doing work study at Bangkok. So when he came back, then the elders, the pastors, say, Omo Benin, magical law. And I had it.
Okay, you actually
He
understand
never
Yoruba.
approached me.
Oh, she speaks more than me.
I want to come back to that. Just land on your opinion.
She knows Umbati well.
No, I'm just trying to
Yes, ma'am.
quote it exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
So then I thought it was a joke. I said, are you the spokesman? He said, the castor. So he took me out. He said, Then I thought it was so. The other 2 elders went to computer science department where my father works and narrated the whole story that we've not told Chioma, but we want to go through the right channel. My father said, "Are you sure?" So to start everything, then my father came back and said, so we're going to marry Yoruba. I said, I don't understand that question. He said, we'll see. So when my father said we'll see, then I have to think twice. Then I reported at Tokebola. Then the 3 elders, they came and said, do you know Moses Taiwo? I said, maybe we are all working together to promote these books worldwide. Then the man told me that this is their intention. Before I knew it, his brother, he lives in Sade.
Okay.
He came also, but my father wasn't pleased.
He wasn't happy to see
Yeah, he
him.
wasn't pleased. His attitude, my father's attitude, wasn't welcoming. But as soon as he saw Moses, it was then the elder came to me and said, your father is interested to marry Moses. And he said, to have Moses as a father-in-law.
Wow.
Then I said, but we are doing like twins. I said, it's more than twins.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's another question.
Mom, there's something that came to my mind even while you spoke. That as at that time, your dad was a religious person.
Seventh Adventist.
Now, thank you. That definitely.
First generation.
Definitely.
Third.
Because, Christianity preaches love and all that. So even at that, it simply means there was a strong impact Biafra war made.
Culture.
Well, I think
impacted.
it's culture. The word is
Culture.
culture. The culture. Because even Yalaso was also operating out of the maybe Biafra, the story of the past, how Igbo were very aggressive, and they're still very aggressive today. So maybe they were just thinking that would not work because of the old story. But I think culture is the thing that is so ingrained in us that even distort even the way we think.
Yes.
But at the end, it came out successfully.
We
got married. Then doing the traditional, that's another war.
I'm interested about that, yeah.
Doing the traditional, that was the another phase of war. So one of my uncle rejected, the other one rejected. But to the glory of God, Pastor Nach was the only one who, because all my family were pastor, religion. I did religion also. So supported him. Otherwise, Yalasha and himself will have gone because of that code that was injected in the long-term memory.
Yeah, because they don't want me to marry her. So some of the items they asked me to buy will carry
was
everything
rejected,
It's true that they don't take dowry like in my own Yoruba culture. But what they had was even more than dowry. So we were able to afford that because even as a student going to Sweden, I was able to
afford it.
It was. I remember coming back in 1986 or 85 with $3,000, and then we went to Lagos to change it. That was like a lot of money at that time. It was used to be 1 naira 26 kobo. But anybody having that amount those days is almost like $1 million now. In terms of equivalency. So we've tasted both sides of what it means, and that's why we are still giving God the glory.
If you still can flashback, man, at the very early stage of the marriage, there's meal incompatibility also, being a Yoruba person. And I remember while I was serving in the NYSC, a Igbo girl would say, I can't marry a Yoruba, they'll give me pepper. Because they eat pepper. So, and I've always loved to marry a Igbo girl or Hausa. Why? Because they have this variety of meal and all that. So, how were you able to combine? And
but remember, she was born in Inisha.
Okay. She was already
she consumed
used to
pepper, and I'm the one who ran away from pepper.
Okay.
But at the end, you cooked.
She's teaching me to use pepper. And I always run away from
Do you had any challenge that you later blended together?
Yeah,
because
up to now we're still blending.
Wow.
Because
after 40?
It's a school of study.
Wow.
You don't graduate.
Until death departs.
You don't graduate.
You keep studying.
So I got to learn how to eat agbono soup. To eat olibi, the bitter one. Okay.
So how do you get it in the US?
Well, she knows how to improvise things. She will go there. Even when she make amala in US, I'm always amazed how she combines. So she's very gifted. At 65, I still look strong. She's helping me.
Kudos to you, man. We are so proud, so proud of you. I move to business.
I think sir, we met as
a year ago now.
Yeah, a year ago. What has been the experience? Can you just share a brief story of how we met and how we have been working together?
Your encounter with architecture influencer.
Well, when the first time I met, I couldn't even pronounce his name. Oladeji something. Sevanaya. Because it was Sunday's brother that brought him to my. So we were just talking. In fact, I would even say that I wasn't really ready to hit the ground running because I have some plots of land. Which I think we even talk about some of them maybe before you even came in.
Yes.
And so he listened to my desire and he said, look, let's leave it in the hands of God. when I hear statement like that, I know that God sent him at the right time. Because other people have been coming and I never connect with them. He and him, I and him, we just connect the first day. I never knew him before.
Yeah.
So I went to the room. The spirit was just telling me, don't leave this man. And I said, well, so I called my wife. I said, well, I have not said yes to him, but I think there is something that is, like I always say, is beyond me. And I know the spirit as well. So, and the reason why I got to know that, he knows that it's a lot of money come from me. Sometimes he will call me like a brother, say, look, I know I gave you this quotation, but if you can just send this something, I want to buy the material down. Even my own biological brother, they never give me some. They are thinking of what they will gain out of the little that I will send. So I said, this is somebody I don't even know for a year. And each time it's word of encouragement, telling me situation of things. And he said, look, anybody who get to that structure today will say, within less than a year, we didn't steal money. Depending on God. And so maybe he can talk about sometime when he calls me and say, well, I know, don't send anything now, work is going now.
So how do you feel when you go to Nigeria? The reason why I'm asking the question is that we've seen on the social media when someone will be sending money to his biological brother to say, build house for me.
That's the story I'm saying.
And they get to Africa, they get to Nigeria, and there is nothing.
Even buy land. You are even talking about building. You don't just buy land.
And there is nothing.
The story upon stories that
your engagement.
Your own even biological people that, So within less than a year, you see a man putting a mansion, something like that there. It really touched me. So when I say, why can't I just let him know other area he can develop for me? And he even talking to me, he said, look, now I want us to be doing something that will be bringing money to you. So he's not even thinking about what happens, but let's put things that will be bringing money. Can your own even blood relation think of? They will be thinking of what they get from you more.
Yeah, in fact, I had the privilege to be part of Architecture Influencer Integra. And then there was a time there was a conversation there that there are lots of people who are in diaspora, or they are also in Nigeria, but they are in a busy zone, that they just need someone to manage their resources for them, and they need somewhere they can trust. Can't we provide such an avenue? And tremendously over the years, people in diaspora has always been contacting and saying it's Architecture Influencer want to get across to in Lagos, in Ibadan, and in Shaki. There are numerous of those projects. Have you had any bitter experience since you've been working with Architecture Influencer?
No. It has always been positive experience.
Wow.
Even updating meetings. Sometimes before I wake up, because of 5 hour or 6 hour time difference, I'm watching every stage.
Wow.
I learned my vocab about building begin to increase, the German floor.
You become a site engineer yourself.
And then you give you detailed report of how every money was spent.
Wow.
When I always show my wife, say, look, all this money you've been waiting all these years, these are blood relations. We're talking about millions. We're not just talking about 1,000 naira. And then to see somebody less than a year. So who would not be touched by that? And it's not him, it's God using him.
So in time of trust and interaction, have you had bitter experience?
Well, when you give a project to your family member, you don't know whether that's a bitter experience or bittersweet experience.
Bittersweet experience. Wow, because actually you would not even be able to complain.
What can you do?
Sincerely, it's quite amazing. I had a story of someone who said they have been investing money in the hand of the elder brother, and by the time the younger one come and say, bro, where is this business? He say, do you want to be questioning me? If you had a problem, am I not the elder brother they will call to carry you? So you just see such a abnormal situation coming up.
I remember the first time, even at that time I was a student, I think maybe 2001 and 2 around that. My brother, this is the same father, will tell me the land that he bought. And when I go home, he showed me another property that belonged to
Another.
And even yesterday, I gave him 100. He's still asking me to bring more. They are never thinking about what will bring something. It's what can I get from you.
And most of those things
and
don't
that
last.
really made me cry sometimes. That all you are thinking is what can you get from me? That's evil. You can get it from me, but it's not going to serve you well. Because my thought towards you is not what you are thinking about.
Sir, what has been your biggest fear or the challenge you think was not achievable that you have seen God using us to achieve for you, sir?
Well, I mean, it's a story that is just beginning. That's all I would say. And that structure there, I think, is the beginning of many stories we're going to write.
It's been an amazing time. I would like to round up with this, even though, if not that I don't want mommy to get emotional, I would have wanted to give her a kind of about 8 to 10 minutes expression about his experience, a memory about the Biafra War. I want to ask this question. I don't know if mom would like to take it up, but I'll ask this question. Are you planning to come back to Nigeria and settle?
Oh, yes. I mean, all this structure, all this property we're buying is gone. And if I retire, I don't want to retire in US where I will be dumping nursing home. Unless my wife decide what he wants.
He's even ready to return.
Wow. That's amazing.
He gave us a strong hope.
Wow.
Which in America, you don't give people hope. You communicate, but don't put hope. But he gave us hope.
Wow.
The perfect human understanding.
Wow.
Because me looking at the structure, it seems like, how is he going to do it? But it's best not to him. But when he came, he simplified it like ABC. And the hope came.
And each time people ask us about that building, the family that came yesterday say, look, this guy is really good. You know, this is the tallest building.
He has passion. He has passion for what he's doing.
And I said, well, he said we haven't seen anything yet. He's still designing it. So it's going to be something, a model that other people, So he's also advertising himself. That's all I would say.
And what really helped him?
Yes,
I think he has a very strong connection with God. That's it.
Wow.
Because without God, you can do nothing.
And
he's very humble and very respectful.
People say all kinds of things. People send message to me. People talk about even things they've never seen just because of the experience they have somewhere. They want to project it on him. I was very, very careful how I respond. Even the boy who always walked to help us when we come, wanted to say all kinds of things that he should hire him. I said, I can't do that. So again, people want to put pressure on me. But I thank God that I don't respond to their pressures. Because I know their pressure will just spoil everything.
The unfortunate part is that some people in this part of the world just think about what they want to get.
Not what they will do to help me.
Someone from the UK said he had some group of friends before he traveled out. So at a point in time, they felt anyone who has traveled out, you are fetching money. It's just a ready-made money.
The only problem is just that they don't get visa. I pray all of them get visa.
So they compared him.
Their dream will not turn to nightmare.
So they compared him and he sent money to them. Do you know, sir, that weekend they all gathered themselves and went to beer parlor to squander that money. The money he felt they should use to do something.
Yeah.
So he was expecting that I've given you this money, do something with it, but they drank out of it.
Yeah.
They felt they have sent us, they call it maga as paid. So that's the challenge we have.
Anyone with evil mind, evil thought, that's how they think. Yeah.
So we are hoping.
We thank God for him, and we thank God for you too, because I'm going to see you as a second brother now.
Thank you, sir.
And when he introduced you to me as his manager, I know that this is a spirit-led investment, and so maybe God just wants us to use that as a connecting link so that I start investing more.
So I want you to look to your camera and speak to an average Nigerian youth. The word of hope. Sir, before you speak, I want you to have this at the back of your mind. Mom, you're also going to speak. The reality, the truth is that the system in Nigeria, if one is not spiritual, an average Nigeria is just religious, but not spiritual. You were spiritual. Yeah. You had this understanding. I want you to speak to them as someone, though, who has no spiritual understanding. That the truth is that the Nigerian system is not providing hope to anyone. There is no signal of hope in the mindset of any youth. I want you to speak to an average hopeless Nigerian youth today, and particularly the youth in Shaki Town. Thank you. This is your camera, sir.
Okay. So, my young people, I want you to know that I turned 65 very soon. And I was like you, living a life without hope, as if nothing will ever get better in my life. I have my own physical disability with my left arm. I can only use my right arm. I can't use my left hand. Even when I'm making a U-turn driving, I'll struggle with that. So there's no calamity or suffering that you will say you are going through that I have more than even some of them. You have your 2 hands, your 2 legs, you are very physically. Why going through all this, get into rich business, quick business mentality? That's not going to save you. I lost my father when I was 16. So there's nothing when it comes to suffering, when it comes to trauma. I have gone through that. So my appeal to you is that be patient with yourself. And I will recommend that book to you by Viktor Frankl, Man's Ultimate Search for Meaning. Let meaning be your guiding principle, not money. Money is true. Money can command things. Money can make you look good outside and people applaud you, but it's not going to give you the peace, the joy, the inner peace that you will have. I know people who have less money and they are happier than the people who are rich. It's from one problem to the other. Is that the life you want to live? Get rich quick syndrome is not going to help you. So my young people, I grew up here in Shaki Town. I'm a village boy. I live all my life on the farmland. But by the grace of God, I have 2 doctorates. Even if I remain in Nigeria, I will still be making it. I was doing very well at Bangkok University before I traveled. So there's nothing that you want to do if you put God in your side. Religion, many of us are too religious. Christian or Muslim, that's not going to take us anywhere. Spirituality is the key, is the ingredient. Spirituality is what connects you directly to God. Yeah, going to church every Sunday, going to mosque, all those things are just part of socialization. They're not going to help us. But they are good too, because they have a way of disciplining us. They have a way of reminding us that there is God. But we cannot just be passive. We need to tap into our spirituality.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Moses Taiwo, a US-based Nigerian citizen and also a US citizen. He hails from Shaki Town in Shaki West Local Government of your state. Sir, you've been so amazing. It's a successful. He doesn't want me to say he's a rich or wealthy, but silver and gold, he has some. Dr. Chioma, Dr. Chioma, Dr. Chioma and Taiwo, I want you to talk to a girl child, Ma, in Nigeria. A girl child are suffering. They really are suffering. What they have as hope today. I have an experience while I was in the north, Ma. There are sets of young girls who rent a room. It's not up to this studio. The room, they pay 1,500 naira per day. And a man will sleep with them for 500 naira. They need 3 men to sleep with them in a day to pay that rent. And it's a host of rooms like that. It's a colony. So if they want to make profit, they need more than 3 men per day. And that's the life they have been living. We now have this celebrated slave queen, side chick, because of hopelessness. I want you to look to your camera, Ma. I think this is a camera. I want you to look to your camera and speak hope to a Nigerian girl child. Thank you, Ma.
Hear this. I just want you to read the book of Job that says Job's beginning was so rough, but his latter day was really increased. Then Paul also confirmed that nothing is permanent. God is going to settle you. The God of grace, the grace of honor, the grace of the God of all gods will settle you by the end. Now, this is my advice. Do not do prostitute in the midst of suffering. Find something, have collaborative meeting or conference. Talk about how to marketing. Talk about how to do online. Go to Twitter, sign in, and find something, be creative.
Amen. Wow. In fact, it's a nice one. And we are so happy to have you in the studio. This is Juggernaut Africa, Shaki West Local Government in Oyo State, Nigeria. We are so much happy to have you. And then probably we'll be having, when next we are going to be having this, probably is going to be on Zoom.
Yeah, I think so. We need more of that.
We are going to be having Knowledge for Money 2025 in the next year, and we'll be more than happy to have you as one of our online speakers. You have shaped a lot of mind here today, and it's something we are proud of, that you can continue to help us. People looking up to people, they said we don't have a lot of bad people. We just have a lot of bad voices. The echoes of those people who are bad seems to be more louder. It's not that the society is actually filled with much of bad people, but because they have the ability to speak volume. So, sir, since you have been on this course, I will find it as a privilege, a very rare one, to have you as one of those who speak to our audience whenever we pick.
Just let me know the subject, and I prepare myself.
I wasn't prepared.
Wow.
Wow.
But you are not prepared and you discharge in this manner. It's amazing.
We are dropping him while I entered the market.
Wow.
So the lady said, can I come to your house? I said, talk to him.
Wow.
So that's why she called you. I said,
okay,
we are coming to your house.
Okay.
Because I just love the flower.
Wow. So thank you very, very much. Thank you.
It's a privilege and honor.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.